Hi, I am Scott Herbst, founder of Six Flex Training and Consulting, and you are watching or listening to The Flex, a show where we have conversations with people who are expressing leadership with the intention that it make open access for you to express yours. I am excited to have with us today Alejandro Werner. Alejandro is CEO of Blossoming Minds Therapy. They provide applied behavior analytic services to kiddos with developmental disabilities, and they do that in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And as usual, I'm going to keep my introduction short so you can hear Alejandro's story from Alejandro. Alejandro, thank you for being here.
Hey Scott, I really appreciate you having me today. It's a great honor and pleasure to do this with you.
Oh, my pleasure.
As you have mentioned, I am a CEO of an ABA clinic in Winston-Salem. I've been in the field for about 11 years. I started as a therapist and then worked my way up little by little. 4 years ago, in Miami, in South Florida, I was honestly tired of so much fraud that was happening in the field. So I was very discouraged by that, almost left the field, decided to open my own clinic and do things the best possible to service the kiddos and to be a positive drive in the community. So I moved to North Carolina, Winston-Salem, where I opened the clinic. I started with one client. I have to learn, or I had to learn to do the whole credentialing, the billing, the HR, all that good stuff. And then little by little, started growing the company. As of now, we have our own center in downtown Winston-Salem, and we're little clinic, but growing, learning, and servicing kiddos with developmental disability.
I am curious, when you say the fraud you were seeing, what were you seeing?
Well, all sorts of frauds. Mainly, on my level, at least, I was seeing overbilling, uh,
Hmm.
which obviously is not good for anybody. And I was also seeing overprescribed hours. Kiddos that may have need 20 hours, 25 hours, getting 35, 40. It was not a good representation of the field, obviously unethical.
Yeah,
And Mhm.
yeah. So you started your first clinic, one client. Uh, what was that like? What was it like
well,
to
it was
go?
scary. It was scary.
Yeah,
It was scary, frightening. I had no business in business. I had no experience in business. So, but I took the leap of faith. I trust that I had a good vision and people will come help me. I'm very comfortable reaching for help when I need to, reaching to proper professionals when I get stuck. But overall, it was scary. But I believe that if it's not scary, it's not worth doing. If it's not big, it's not worth doing. So I took the leap of faith and started learning little by little.
yeah. I would love to talk about that. I know, I mean, personally, I do find it more challenging to ask for help. Um, and so I'm curious if you're willing to talk a little bit about that, some of the places that you saw that you needed help, and then just what was your experience in people offering help or not offering help or saying no? Just share about that a bit.
Well, absolutely. And before we even get to the help piece, I think there's like underlining facets that a person has to be developed in order to get to that. Obviously, humbleness. You have to understand as a leader, you don't know what you don't know, and be okay in that space where you're not comfortable. Humbleness. And also courage. Just to open a business and just to ask for help, you have to have courage. And that you have to, at least for me, I have to be secure in what I have and secure on the things I don't know. I have to live comfortable in that space where it's very uncomfortable. So asking for help was basically
When you
first.
say secure in what you have, say more about that.
Sure. So secure in what you have or what you want to provide for the community. I'm very secure on my ethics and my morality and the love that I have for people. I am
Yes.
secure and certain that I will do the hardest work, the best job for the clients I serve. So that is my grounding. Whenever I'm like stressed or like not sure where to go next, I go back to that space of courage and security on my own skills and what I bring to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me make sure I'm hearing this, and I want to say it's slightly different. I'm hearing that when you say secure in what you have, that you've gotten really clear on, listen, here's what I bring to the table. I'm gonna do ethical service, like really adhere to ethical principles. I am gonna bring, I really love what I do and the people who I do it for. Like I am gonna bring that to the table. And then I will work hard to deliver on what I know our science can do for people.
Correct. And these are like my cornerstones. This is my
Yeah.
foundation. And from that foundation, then I'm more comfortable with the things I don't know.
Awesome. I love that. And tell me if this is your experience, but as you're hearing that, I hear that gives you like going into a situation where you don't know a lot. Like you said, I don't know about hiring, I don't know about billing, I don't know about credentialing, et cetera, whatever. Like all this aspect of business that is new that you're going to have to learn or find someone to do, that really standing for, okay, whatever I don't know, what I can promise people, uh and my, you call the cornerstones, like the foundation of who I am is uh ethical, like rigorously ethical, not just as a like lip service, but really like, no, you can count on me. My stake is in the ground around ethics, uh love for my clients, and um the third thing you said, oh, like really working hard. From there it's like, okay, if I do that, then I can go and find the other stuff out.
Correct. I'll give you one example. I was with a parent last year. The
Yeah.
clinic we had like 85% capacity. They came in and they told me, look, I like your company, I like the clinic, but I don't see you marketing. I don't see you with the reviews in Google. I don't see any of that, and I don't feel comfortable with that. So,
Yeah.
and this is because I like those skills. Right now I'm word of mouth, so I like those skills. So I rely on what I have. I told the parent, I'm like, look, I can promise you persistence. I can promise you high ethics, like you mentioned. And I don't have marketing at the moment, but we can do this. I handed out a paper with the names of all my parents, and I told him, pick anyone in this list you choose to call and to hear their experience firsthand. This is better, I think, than any marketing or Google review that you can see online. This is the most transparent thing I can do for you. So sure enough, the parent grabbed the list. He called one or two, and they're happy campers now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Awesome.
that's an example of me relying on what I have and what I have provided in the past and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's awesome. Now we talk a little bit about, I interrupt you. I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep doing it. I want to hear something interesting. But now going back to then asking for help and finding resources for all those things that you didn't know. So you've got your solid core. Like, okay, I know who I am. What was it like to then start getting into all those murky gray areas of business that were probably the things scaring you?
Sure, and like the HR, the hiring, the firing. So first, I guess like reaching out to people that have experience, obviously, able to find them through different sources, but then the trust component. Is this person really out here to help me, or they're trying to make a quota? So that was a little friction too. I had to work on myself, like the trusting part.
Mm.
And just reaching out to people, they have been very kind to me, offering advice and recommendations, hiring people to do the marketing, hiring people to teach me to do the credentialing and stuff like that. Overall, my experience has been very nice with people helping me. But again, it's because underlining personality traits that I have to develop over the years, which is the trustworthy, the humbleness, the persistence and stuff like that.
When you say trustworthy, you're saying that you had to learn to trust people.
Well, yeah, because where I was in South Florida, it was a dog eat dog world. Uh,
Hmm.
with the fraud that I mentioned earlier, and just people trying to get one up on you. So here in this climate where I'm at right now, people are more wanting to help each other and help the clients. People understand that helping other CEOs indirectly helps the clients too. So changing that mentality from dog eat dogs kind of deal, like people are trying to get me on business, to okay, I can trust the people, they really are doing what they want to do, what they're saying they want to do, basically.
Yeah. Now, how did you go from, it sounds like being kind of suspicious. Correct me if I'm mishearing, but being a little bit suspicious, a little tentative at least, of are people really, you said, interested in helping me or trying to meet a quota. Um, what was the process? And you might not know, but I am curious if there was a process, if there was something you can offer our listeners in terms of learning to trust and some moves that you made that helped open you up to receive help.
Sure. So I think overall, I became comfortable with risk. Just
Hmm.
like we were talking in the beginning, opening a business is scary. It takes courage. And then
Yeah.
again, asking people for help or hiring someone that's going to do a beautiful job, at the end of the day, is a risk. I think everything in life worth pursuing is a risk.
Yeah.
Um, Marriage, having kids, opening a business, writing a book, doing a podcast, interviewing a new person that it's all risk. So I think as a leader, you have to be comfortable with risk. You have to be happy and enthusiastic about risk, and also happy with failure from risk. You have to be comfortable with failing. As they
Yes.
say, better to try and fail than to have never tried. So this is again like cornerstones to my philosophy or mentality. That sure, I do the soft skills, the things that everybody knows, do the interview, look at the soft skills when the person's talking to you, making sure you do your homework on the person, things that we all know. But at the end of the day, I think the final push to be comfortable and enthusiastic and in the zone is you're okay with risk. You have to be okay with risk.
I am curious if you can talk about a place or two that you have failed. And and I'm wondering, you said like you have to be happy with failure. Talk more about that and what it takes to be happy with failure or how you look at failure that would have you be happy with it. Because I
Sure.
know that's a place where people get that's a place where I get stopped. Um,
Yeah, I think, I mean, failure is a beautiful thing because it just means that you're one step closer to your goal, one step closer to where you want to be. Relationship with failures paramount. I'll give you one example.
yeah, please.
I was in the beginning when I started hiring people, I was new to hiring people.
Yeah.
I did my homework, the soft skills, so on and so forth. But as everybody experienced, we all hire bad apples sometimes, you know. So that was like a risk that I took. Every time I hire someone, it's a risk. So I in the beginning I had hired not too many people, a handful of people that I had to ultimately let go. And I felt as a leader to have the intuition or the skills to make sure this person was proper for the job. So that was something that I fell on. I'm very happy now that we have very low turnover rate, if anything. I can get my people to leave working with me now. But in the beginning, I had to go through my rotations and fire the people, which was hard too. Easy to hire somebody, but to fire, troublesome, especially, people live all types of circumstances. But that's one area that in the beginning I was failing.
Yeah. So failing to actually recognize who would and wouldn't be a good candidate, and then talk about, because you mentioned it a couple times now, the separating from people and just what you confronted in firing people.
Yeah, so what I notice now is that it's easier for me to fire than it is to hire. In the beginning, it was easier for me to hire and hard to fire. So the way I mentalize that is always the kiddo, always the client, um,
Mm,
as my priority, not the person, not myself, not the parents, the client. So if this client is not getting the best possible help and therapist, and I have that in mind, then it's easier to let go of the person in an ethical and proper way. And I think that was what my mind shifted, my hierarchy of who I'm serving. I'm serving the client first, the family second, the therapist. I see myself as an employee of my employee of the therapist, and I'm
yeah.
last. If I can have that in order, then even though I have to make the tough decision of firing somebody, it's in a more comfortable space. And then I also noticed that the people are very cool with it. Like they're not reactive. They're not reactive when I tell them why I'm firing them. Like, look, you don't meet the quota for X, Y, and Z. My priority is the kiddo. I need to provide the best service, and they're very understanding of the decisions.
Mm, I love that. I can hear in that well, here's my experience is that when difficult conversations break down, they become really personal. That, I'm worried about, I go into a difficult conversation worried about how you're going to take it and how you're going to react to me. So like I go in defending against you, and whether it's professional, personal, either one, if I go in defended against something you could say or do to me, then it just is much more likely to go sideways. And what I'm hearing about what you're saying is that by keeping the focus on what is this really about? Like, what are we here for? And there's nothing personal about what we're here for. It really is. We are here to provide the absolute best service for these clients, for these families. And if we're not doing that, um, then we're failing, right?
All right.
And what there is to do is to take the next natural action to uh, bring the level of service up. And if the person's not delivering the service, and you've got data like, hey, you haven't met this expectation, etc., then what there is to do is find someone who will meet the expectations.
I'll give you a personal example, and
Yeah.
maybe if we have time, we can talk about reaction, people's reaction, and how a leader should respond to those reactions.
Yeah.
But here's an example. A few months ago, I had hired a therapist, amazing therapist, a single mother, but her kiddo was getting sick very often. So she had to miss days of work continuously. Her client was a kiddo that really needed the hours of services. It was a high stake case, if you will, the whole
Yeah.
nine. Um, so in this case, was like the therapist was good, but it's like, how am I gonna get myself around firing a single mother? This is like crazy, It's like hard. I don't want to leave a single mother without a job out of the blue. So I had to go back to my foundation. All right, what is my priority? The kids the family, and the therapist. So I had to sit with this person and let her know, look, like we need to provide proper services for the kiddos, but I also want to take care of you. I also want to help you. I also want to provide the best for you because you're under my wing at the end of the day. You're in my under my company. So I was able to, she understood completely. She never gave me a reaction. She said, yes, I understand. If it was my kiddo, I will do the same decision. And then we were able to work out a deal where I gave her basically monetary help for a few weeks until she found another job. That way, that was pro bono, but that was a way of me taking care of her, helping her, taking care of her, putting her above me, and so she can make that transition in an ethical way. Now, I have never heard anyone do that before, a small ABA practice, but again, I go back to my priorities. If you're under my wing as a leader, I feel obligated to help you out, to mentor you. Yeah.
Um, Thank you. And I just want to underline that I think that focus, probably when the focus is on there and them, I'm going to be less defended. And I think people probably, you can tell me based on your experience, don't take that personally. Like, not that there's anything wrong with you, but this is about them getting the best services, and we're not doing that.
Correct. Like I always tell my people, it's like we're just two smart people coming together to help an individual. So whenever I have a problem, let's say in this case hiring or firing somebody, I present the problem to them and let them know like how can we together solve this? How can we do so the kid is serviced properly, that you are serviced properly, and that the clinic and myself are serviced properly, equally, and balanced, basically. So when I come with that perspective, the employee in this case understands and more often than not, helps me like solve the problem. And now,
Mm,
also with the reaction pieces, like people are gonna get mad. Anytime that you do something positive or something big or something that attracts the public or just human relationship, people are gonna get upset. That's okay. I don't think as a leader you can take stuff personally. You can't have a reaction when other people have reactions. You can't get mad when people get mad at you. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna fail. That's okay. We're human beings. We're all humans at the end of the day. It's like we're all these smart people trying to help people. That's all.
yeah, I so appreciate that. I so appreciate that perspective of with, I'm going to say it this way, dealing with the reality of people. And um, like, you don't get mad at water for being wet, right? Or the sun for being hot. And I'm sorry, my dog is coming to pay a visit here. So you don't get mad at those things. And yet we often take what people do really personally. And like you said, people, when you make a big change, people don't like change, right? Someone's going to resist it. Even really positive changes, people get suspicious. I've been in workplaces where, hey, wait, this sounds like it's going to be actually really good for us in the long term. A little bit of work to get there, but if it works out and people, will fight to hold on. But in it sounds like allowing that to be, well, you tell me, in letting people have their own reactions and accepting it, welcoming it, even. What have you seen the difference that makes?
Well, I love the metaphor, by the way. I really like beautiful metaphors, and you can get mad at the sun for being hot and the water for being wet. And yeah, it goes with people. Um, I get, for me, I'm very much into like acceptance, radical love, radical empathy for people. And part of that is understanding people are going to be people. People are going to get mad at you. People are going to have life issues and stuff like that. So whenever like myself or one of my coworkers go through a situation, giving them space, not listening, not jumping into conclusions, letting them cool down, maybe waiting a day or two until you address the situation, and then conversing about it. I think as a leader, you have to develop the skills to be at peace and calm when there's fires around you. I think you have to be calm when there's crisis around you. And that quality transfers to people. You know, they're freaking out. They see you calm and collective. They're like, what's going on? Why is this guy not freaking out? So those mirror neurons start kicking in, and the people uh, take a step back. It's like, Mr. Alex, Mr. Alejandro, it's like, what do you think about this? It's like, well, let me sleep on it. Let's both of us cool down. I'm human too. This is a big thing that's happening. Let me cool down, sleep on it, do my coping mechanisms, and then we'll bring it up tomorrow with a cool head and we'll figure this out together. I always tell people if we have life, we have solutions. The problem is if you die. If you die, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to solve a problem if I'm dead. But if I'm alive, then we can solve the problem. Let's just be ethical and kind and beautiful to each other when we solve a problem.
Talk a little bit about, you said radical acceptance, radical compassion. So you've obviously given some thought to this. This isn't just something that, oh, I just accept everything. Like you've brought a level of intentionality to it. Am I mistaken there?
You're absolutely right, Scott. You're
So
absolutely.
talk a little bit about like how you develop that perspective so that our listeners aren't left like, well, shoot, this Alejandro guy, he accepts
Uh,
things, but I have trouble with that. So
well, first let's start with this, like forgiveness, acceptance, persistence, healthy self-esteem. These are all skills that are very hard to develop. I am no superhuman. I have my flaws like anybody else, but I believe through persistence and development, a human being can hopefully self-actualize. If you're a psychology buff, you're thinking of Maslow hierarchy of needs and stuff like that.
yeah,
So acceptance, I believe love, all this stuff is something that you develop through the years. It's not something that some people may have it innate, but at least in my circumstance, I had to develop the skills, forgiveness, acceptance, all this beautiful stuff.
yeah. So appreciate you saying that.
So I think that's number one. And even if you're farther along your development, there's gonna be days where you fall back to old habits, and that's okay. You have to have grace for yourself. Talk to yourself nice, encourage yourself, just like you would with your kiddo. Now, acceptance does not mean that does not mean that you're gonna be okay with bad things. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean if someone comes do something negative, you're gonna just accept it and everything's okay.
Oh, that person just complains all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah,
No, there's definitely a corrective steps when there's problems, but acceptance, I mean, in the sense of not having a reaction, a reptilian brain cortisol reaction when there's problems that arise. The
yeah,
problem comes, accept the problem. It's life. If life
yeah,
has problems, it's normal. Don't make it don't bring an extra reaction to an already hard problem. So that's acceptance. It's like understanding that yes, there's going to be problems today, there's going to be problems next week. My whole life is going to be problems, but that's okay. That's part of life. It's the rain, it's the thunderstorm. And with that mentality, when the problem comes, you fix the problem, but you free yourself, if you will, from that anxiety, that reaction. You're thinking sometimes the problem is gonna come kill you like it's a lion in the jungle. It's all solvable situations. And I think that's, again, cornerstones of being a leader. Understanding that it's okay. It's okay. A problem is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Awesome. We are getting close to um the time we set aside to talk. I want to pull something out of what you just said and see if it fits for you. But you talked about developing this perspective of problems happen and there's nothing wrong with problems. And um and from the perspective there's nothing wrong, it allows you to work creatively for solutions. Am I hearing that right?
Correct.
Cool. Now, I think the question that may be there for people, and I really get what you're saying, is, well, wait, except that if I have a problem, doesn't that mean there's something wrong?
Mm.
And the connection I'm seeing across everything you've said today, starting going back to one of the very first things you talked about, like having your cornerstones and having certainty about what you can provide and also what you're there to provide. Like we are here, and what we're about, first and foremost, is providing high quality, excellent services to these clients, and so that it makes a difference for their families. So, between those two things, I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, that having the focus on, well, what do I really care about, gives access to treating problems not like it's something wrong. I failed. It means something about me, but actually just seeing it as a barrier between that thing I really care about. And that thing I really care about is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And as long as I'm focused on that, it can take out the reaction to this as like, ugh, like, icky, boo. Uh, from like, okay, let's deal with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you hit on a major idea, purpose, the why we do things. I think the
Yes.
why, the purpose carries us as leaders to do this on the best way possible. My why, my purpose is to change lives, to help the kiddos, to develop them and make it better for their families. This is my purpose. This is why I have so much motivation and persistence to do. When I see a kiddo that's 6 or 7 that has never talked and starts to talk or use AAC device, a speech output device, I feel like I just score a touchdown and is the like and or I feel like there's no greater feeling than that. I go bananas. I want to go run around the clinic because I'm so happy. So I always have that perspective in my mind, my why. Why am I doing this? Now, with understanding that, that carries me um, through the problems, the hard times, the things that I do wrong, everything else. And then understanding that when there's problems or things that you need to improve in life or as your leadership, understand that developing. We're all developing. We're all developing. We have our strong suits that we bring to the table, but understanding that we're all developing to give that grace to ourselves and understanding problems happen. I'm a human being. I may not know how to do this, but I am very persistent and I'll get it done no matter what. So stuff like that, I think, is cornerstone to being a leader.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you. Um, like I said, we are getting close to time. I am curious, having talked a lot about what you've learned, what's the next challenge for you, whether it's in your business or your personal growth?
My challenge, I think, which correlates to most leaders, is learning to be comfortable and okay with bigger problems. I think the bigger the problems I can solve, the more I can help people. So
Mm,
my next challenge this year, I am hoping to open another clinic.
yeah.
So double in size in 1 year. So that is my next challenge. Um, and I'm happy. I'm enthusiastic. I know I'm gonna make mistakes and I'm gonna have failures, but I am so excited for any failure or problems that come because I will resolve them. I will resolve them and I will help more people. So I'm happy for that challenge.
Awesome. And a question I love to ask all my guests, you know, you are free to answer however you answer. What are you proud of?
Hmm. I'm proud that I'm in purpose. I'm proud that I'm helping people. I'm proud that I can help families that maybe have lost hope in the past or have not seen good days in a while. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I can help people, that I'm doing something worthwhile.
Awesome. And then my last question, if people are interested, how can they reach you?
They can go to my website, BM
Yep.
Therapies, uh, bmtherapies.com. They can reach out through there, and I'm happy to always, again, help anyone that comes my way.
Yeah. You're also on LinkedIn, correct?
Correct. And also through
Yep.
LinkedIn. They can look at my
Awesome.
name, Alejandro Werner.
Awesome. Alejandro, thank you so much for just really standing for making a difference for people and then coming on the flex to share about that with me and our listeners. I really appreciate it. They really appreciate it as well. So thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope people get good stuff out of this. And thank you so much for having me and being able to express myself. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure. And for those of you who are watching or listening, this wraps this episode up. Thank you again for being here. As always, like, subscribe, 5 stars, do whatever you can on the platform you're on to show your appreciation. And we will see you back here at the next episode of The Flex.